Happy Easter from Eszter. It's my favorite thing to say.
Buona Pasqua from Sicily. Ciao,
Buona Pasqua.
Eszter.
Ciao, honey. Buona Pasqua. Happy Easter. Hope everyone's having a great day wherever you are, whatever day it is. What a beautiful time we had here with my family for Easter. And you and Alfred in Sicily, you had a great meal, right? You had some lamb.
Thanks to Stefania. She sent me a recipe of Neapolitan style lamb that I followed to perfection. The only thing that was wrong about it was I bought lousy lamb chops. There wasn't enough of them, but her recipe was just great. I really thanked her too. She did a great job. Neapolitan lamb I had.
So
Awesome.
everyone around Sicily is having their Easter meal. They're having lamb, right, Al? A lot of
Plenty
fish.
of lamb.
Fish, sausage.
Well, you know the lamb situation, I discovered that the lamb situation, of course, the sheep don't really get full grown until the fall. So this holiday comes at a bad time. So the inventory of available
That
sheep,
time.
I'm telling you right now, the inventory to available sheep is not that great because they're still stuffing them to try to get, maximum dollar amount. In the fall, it's good. So I
We
found
gotta
a
find
piece
you a
of
good
meat.
butcher.
I think my lamb was run to death. I mean, it was like
But a
it
lot
was
of
like
people
the
have
smallest
fish.
lamb chop I ever saw. Looked
Yeah.
like a
And
lamb tapas. It was like that big. It
and
was
then
awful.
tomorrow is Easter Monday,
It was
right?
awful.
Also a holiday. Also a holiday in Sicily and Italy. It's a time to be with friends. A lot of people go to the mountains, right, Alfred, or have barbecues for Easter Monday. But I want to tell you about one of
Can you
our
hear me okay?
traditions. I can hear you.
Okay,
Hey,
good.
Al, I want to tell you
I
about
got
one
to
of our
adjust the volume
traditions
here.
that I want to tell you guys about one of the traditions we have in Hungary for Easter Monday. And the tradition is that girls wait at the house for the
Well,
boys to come around. Oh, I'm just
I
going to
have a technical problem right now, Lee. Let me just
let
get
me
my.
take So let me tell you guys about this Easter tradition while Alfred fixes his audio problem. That the girls wait in their house for boys to come around to spray them with some perfume or some water, and in turn they're laid out some Easter eggs or ham. And I asked my mom today, where's this tradition from? Because I remember being in the Girl Scouts and we had this tradition, and I actually ran away from the boys when they were coming around trying to spray me. And no, I didn't give them any eggs or any ham. But it's a beautiful tradition. And I want to know what kind of traditions you guys have for Easter Monday. So leave me a comment. I'm going to try and bring Alfred back to the stream. You there, Al?
Wait a
Oh,
second, Esther. Your volume is very low for me. I can hardly hear you.
all right. I can't see you
I'm gonna
right
I'm gonna
now,
go
Al.
out and come back in.
Okay. All right, so I want to know what kind of traditions you guys have in your house. I'm also very interested in what you guys ate. We had ham and mashed potatoes and peas and salad, and of course, plenty of sweets as well. Um, and we had a little bit of Colombo cake, of course, which is one of my favorites, shaped like a dove. And this was a pistachio Colombo cake. So, did you guys have Colombo cake, and what kind of cookies and what kind of things did you have? All right, I'm going to ask someone to come and make a cameo appearance as soon as Alfred comes back. Until then, Bern, come out. My sister is here from New York City, and she's going to come and say hello, and maybe even my niece. Say hello to Bernadette.
Where am I looking?
You're looking right in there.
Bonjour.
Bonjour.
What language am I speaking?
Sicilian?
Oh, happy Easter and Haxame.
Excellent. And what was your favorite? Come sit over here. What was one of your favorite parts of visiting Sicily?
One was seeing you and Al. What was one of my favorite parts? Oh, don't bring that too close.
Can you guys hear us okay?
Okay, one of my favorite parts, I've said this a million times, but I could have spent my vacation just sitting in your backyard, looking out onto the water, drinking Negronis and eating the lupini beans. Is that what it's called? That Al got. I haven't found them anywhere in New York City as good as I had them in Sicily. The other parts were discovering just the little markets. And I don't eat fried food. I probably eat it once or twice a year. But the fried food there is so lightly fried that it's delicious. What else did I love?
Okay, so
I mean, listen, I like not going to the big places. I like seeing off the grid. And I like when you show me
off the beaten path
off the
places.
beaten places and not big touristy things. I like meeting the people. It's always the best part.
Okay, so of course you love Taormina,
I did love Taormina.
and you said something about Ortigia that I won't forget about one of your posts,
What did I say?
that you felt so Italian in Ortigia.
Wait, which one's Ortigia again?
Ortigia was the island. We went with Juliana.
I don't remember. Was I drinking?
No.
Wait, Ortigia?
Ortigia, the little island, the little
Is that what? Oh, Julie with
Juliana,
I
and
thought
we
it was
ate by the
Syracuse.
water. In Syracuse.
Oh, I love Syracuse because it was just quaint. It's quaint. What's everyone saying? Yes, audio is good. I can hear you very well. Okay, hello, Bernadett. Hi. Who was I drinking?
Was I drinking?
Because what happened is they start just, when you're with Eszter and Al, people are like, oh, and they like start bringing it, and I don't drink often. So, the Negronis. Oh, and the other little thing I loved was I call it the gas station cafe. Remember?
Oh my God. So we go to this place to get some coffee or granita or an Aperol Spritz, and it's right next to the gas station. But it is so cool.
And I call it
They
the
have
gas
such
station
great
cafe,
things.
and it's the best. It's the best like croissant and everything. And I like the people. I like supporting the local farmers, and just I love that. I love the unique, like the farmers, the people.
The simplicity of Sicily.
Okay, the simplicity of Sicily. I can't wait to go back. When am I invited back?
Come anytime. Naomi
Wait,
Boyda.
I don't like to come when it's hot because I don't do well when
That's
it's
a good
hot.
question. Actually, a lot of people ask us that
I
question.
don't. I am fair skinned. I look a little lighter on camera, but I like when the temperature is no more than 85. When I came end of May,
April, May, June, July. A lot of people ask us that question. When is the best time when it's not too hot?
What was
Do
great,
not come in August.
what I did was I brought an umbrella, and I always am under an umbrella, and that helps. It's true. You
It's
need an
true.
umbrella. So
Wait, I tell you the funny story. My first year, I was walking around with an umbrella because it was too hot. I wasn't used to it being so hot. And some old ladies started yelling at me, put your umbrella away, put your umbrella away, because I would bring bad luck.
really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, that explains why I've been single for so long.
Okay, that's Bernadett Vida from New York City. She's an image consultant, a model, and what else?
And your sister?
Oh, yeah.
A great aunt.
Sister.
Wait,
Aunt, daughter.
Oh,
Okay, that's my sister.
what are you guys talking about?
We're talking about all things Sicily. Let's say hello to some people. Buona Pasqua.
What tutti mean?
Tutti means everyone. Here, let's get Al up on.
Hi,
Hi, honey. Are you back on?
Hey, Bern. The one thing
I
I
know, I
remember
can't
about
move.
Bern is the one thing I remember about Bernadette is when we went to Piccolo Mundo and she liked that ravioli with the special stuff on the inside. Didn't she like the Yorkleys? I remember we went to
Oh
a
no,
place
in
Via Grande.
Taormina with my friend Philippa, we had that mushroom dish. I still dream about that dish.
Oh, there was another one in Via Grande you were dreaming about too. Was it the pumpkin something or other? I don't remember that you gnocchis. What was that? Eszter?
Gnocchi with zucca.
Was I drinking?
No. People love that.
You know, here's a point, Bern. You have to come back now and do a comparison now between now and then, because it's been several years, and you know, I still have that chair out here on the deck for you. Nobody has sat on it since you've left. Just so you know.
I'll tell you, I tell this to Esther all the time. I could sit in your backyard the whole 10 days of whatever amount of time. I love looking out. That is the most relaxing zen. It's so beautiful there. It really is just it's as soon as you get there, you're relaxed, and that says a lot for someone like me who comes from New York and I need like 2 days to unwind.
I installed this full service bar too, so you could have whatever you want over here. You name it, I have it now.
Do they have edibles there too? I'm just kidding. We just took this to
They
live
don't
somewhere
have
else.
edibles. They don't have edibles.
That's okay.
When you get caught with weed in Sicily, they put your picture in the paper. It's like you're a criminal.
Oh, I like having my
Crazy.
picture in the paper.
It's awful.
It's okay.
It's
Actually,
awful.
I prefer just the Negronis. Those are really good. The ones you guys made me.
Aperol Spritz. No,
Well,
that was Aperol
Oh,
Spritz.
that's what I
Aperol
meant.
Spritz.
Aperol
Yeah,
Spritz.
the Aperol
Why did they call
Spritz
it a
is great.
Negroni?
Because Negroni is another popular Italian
Aperol
drink.
That's what I like that you guys made me. And the dishes you guys made, the salmon was so good. But I do want to come back, but I cannot come back when it's so hot.
So every once in a while I post some pictures, and Bernadette really would like to go to Scala de Turchi, which we went
the
to.
white place where everything's white. I want to
The
go
white.
there.
Those white, and also you have to go to Agrigento, the Valley of Temples.
Okay, here's the important thing. If you're a single woman like myself, and people say all the men are tall, they're not. Don't be fooled.
But actually,
they're
as a
not.
single female traveler, that's a question we get asked a lot. Can you do Sicily as a solo traveler? And the answer is yes, of
I
course you
feel
can.
safe there for sure.
You felt safe there. That's
Even
good.
with you, but just the vibe and the energy is really chill.
That's good advice.
No, it really is. I would go there by myself if I didn't know someone.
Right. And we went to downtown Catania. We went to city spot. There you have to be aware, because it is a city and there are sections, and that's a very important point. There are sections that are a little bit iffier and not as safe as others, just like in New York, just like in Boston, just like in any other town.
Any single men and single men. What about single men traveling? Oh no.
Okay, James says gnocchi con zucca, one of my favorites, Bern. We have to get at the same time. That was at Piccolo Mundo.
I don't remember that, Al.
Hey, wait a minute. I have to say happy birthday to James. James's birthday was this week, right, Jimmy?
Yep, happy belated, the beautiful bracelets that he made for us.
I have that. That's right. Thank you.
Nicest guy in the world. Nicest guy in the world. Happy birthday, Jimmy.
I have a question for you.
We have a healthy. Go ahead.
In hindsight, what are some things, maybe attire or things that you wish you had brought to Sicily, clothes or something that you wish you had brought to Sicily and didn't?
I like loose fitting because it was so hot. I always
clothes or anything, bug spray, anything that you didn't bring that you said, maybe I should have put that in my bag.
No, because I'm a pretty well organized traveler. So I actually have. I mean, I am. I have my stuff. It's just making sure you have all your. One thing that people never talk about is having medicine. Like you should have your medicine. If you have allergies, always bring that because you just don't know.
You just don't know.
You just don't know. Like people are allergic to certain fish, shellfish, things like that. You should have what's that called when you have an allergy? What is it, Nay? EpiPen or something. It's the medicine. Our niece is telling us answers in the background.
But it's a good idea to have your prescription and also have a written note, right? Because you may run out, something may happen, you may lose it or something like that. Have it written up.
You guys should have a singles, Alan S. You guys should have a singles retreat. Like, you know how families come and yada yada finding their ancestors? Maybe you should have a yada yada single people finding their soulmates.
Hey, Al, what do you think of that?
I'm not going near that with a 10-foot pole. There's no way.
It's funny.
It ain't happening. It ain't happening.
Okay, all right. I'll take my ideas elsewhere.
But we do have a May trip coming up that we're very excited about. We actually have two of them. We have 7 students coming from John Cabot University in Rome. They're all graduate students from the United States, and also a professor is coming, and our friend Bob and Breezy de Blasi with the New Jersey Italian Cultural Commission. They're all going to be there in May. We're going to go all over the place, including the reason that this trip is made possible is because a man who's from Accireale, in his will wrote that he wanted students to go to Sicily as a part of their learning, learn about the history, the culture, also the sites. And we're very excited to be meeting with Professor Rosario Faraci from the University of Catania, who's going to introduce us to the mayor, the archbishop. So that's a pretty big trip that we have coming up. And then we have our regular May tour, which, by the way, don't forget, $250 off per person if you sign up. That's May 10 to 20.
How long is that? Oh, May 10 to 20, 10 days. That's a good amount of time. You know what I wish? I probably would love to see the other coast. I like when you went to that place you and Al just went to, where the Castelvetrano olives, my favorite olives. You guys went to, didn't you guys go to
Tommaso Assado?
And I like the wine. I like when, you know what I like now too? Okay, this is something. Since I came back from Sicily, going to restaurants in New York City that have Sicilian wines, I always pick that. And I go, oh, I know that wine. They're like, how do you know this? Oh, my sister lives in Sicily. So I like.
Which one is your favorite?
I mean, whatever is Sicilian. It's just crisp and light and refreshing. It has a different, it's like French wines, American wines. They're all so different. French wines.
Hey, Bernadett, I'll tell you what. Bern, listen, come here for our Christmas trip, and I guarantee you I'll have an escort for you for the week. I'll spend the next couple months. I'll find a guy that has so much money, he's dragging it around with a wheelbarrow. And he's tall, dark, and handsome.
No, if he's dragging things around in a wheelbarrow, that's not my kind of dude. I like unassuming dudes. But I will tell you, that's probably a really nice time to go because it's so. You and S went
so awesome during Christmas.
You would have a good time with us, and it's always a small group, like 8 people. That's it. But I'll find you a guy for that weekend.
No, I'm kidding. I no.
Your birthday is then too.
Yeah, and no one gets me presents, so I just really want to.
Oh, Christmas in Sicily.
Christmas for my birthday.
And the weather is beautiful. It's very, very festive.
Yeah.
Everything is lit up. It's very different than Christmas here. Very, very different. By the way, we just published a video on Sicilian wines. It seems that wines from Sicily are up and coming. In Italy, everyone was talking about it.
They're really nice. And even Philip, I remember we bought wine from that vineyard. What was that vineyard?
Near Terra Costantina. Yeah.
So beautiful. I love that. I love that place.
All right. So Christine Harrison is here. She's coming with her daughter. I want to say that is such a beautiful thing that Christine has done. This is her 3rd time coming with us. She came with her husband, Travis, 1 year. Then she brought one daughter last year. And now she's bringing another daughter. And what a great experience
Christine,
to have.
You want to adopt me? I'll come.
I wish Travis would come back. Travis bought me when he came. Yeah, when he came the last time, he brought me a fine bottle of Texas bourbon that was terrific.
Oh, that's funny. Al, I brought my uncle the same thing.
He's a great guy.
I brought my uncle the same thing in Hungary. He loves bourbon. Uncle George, he loves. Yeah. That's funny. I didn't know you liked that.
Travis is a great guy. Chrissy's a great woman, and the kids were good too. Yeah, what were you going to say?
Sean says, "Hey Al, I got my Sicilian project ordered. Love the project. I bought the first one because it is important to me." I think he's talking about your books.
My books.
I think so. Let's see, Frank, nice to see you on here. She should bring back a Sicilian as a souvenir.
That's funny.
Oh, there's Frank. Okay, here's a question. When is the best time in the summer to catch traditions, processions, etc., like San Giovanni? Good question, Sean. The festival of San Giovanni Battista is actually in Acitrezza, and we went to the Swordfish Festival that came before that. It is on June 24th. Sean, the whole thing is that there's always some kind of festival or something going on in Sicily because each town has an ancestral, a patron saint, a patron saint. So you go from one town to another, and depending on who the patron saint is and when that patron saint is celebrated, there'll be a big festival, right? So, for example, Alfred's ancestral hometown of Tre Castagni, their patron saints, they actually have three, St. Alfio, Philadelphia, and Cerino. They celebrated on May 9th and 10th. However, there's celebrations growing up and leading up to that festival weeks in advance. So they'll have for the Swordfish Festival, a week before San Giovanni Battista, we had Sagra della Pesce Spada, the festival of swordfish, grilled swordfish, glass of wine, some salad, and that helps support the festival. So great question.
Don't forget that in July, you've got the enormous Feast of Santa Rosalia, one of the biggest festivals in all of Italy. That's going to be, these festivals, Sant'Agata, Santa Rosalia, San Giovanni Battista, they were canceled because of the COVID. So now there's a lot of pent-up demand to go and, to adorize these saints, believe me. And I want to say one thing to Frank was on Santa Maria just a little while. I saw his name, Frank. Frank's got the best pictures on all of Facebook. In the history of Facebook, nobody posts pictures like that guy. He is my idol. That's all I want to say, Frank, okay? The best pictures ever. Inspirational. Okay. Truly inspirational.
Sean, yeah, the Acitrezza procession is connected to Galveston, Texas. That would be special for me. All right. And Sean, I know you wrote me a note. I'll get back to you on that.
That's the other thing. Everyone in New York, every time someone's like, "Oh, I'm from Italy," I'm like, "Where?" There you go. Say Sicily. It's like everyone's from Sicily. Like a small island, everyone's Sicilian. It's like everybody. Every time I talk to someone, they're like, "Oh, I'm Sicilian." It's wild. Even my hair guy. The guy who cuts my hair, who's been cutting my hair since I moved to New York City, is from
Sicily. But I can't. Where's he from?
Acitrezza.
Oh, he is from Acitrezza.
The guy who's cutting my hair is from Acitrezza.
Well, where the most Sicilians.
You know why, Vern? There are twice as many Sicilian Americans as there are Sicilian. There are over 12 million Americans of Sicilian extraction. There's only 5.5 million, just because they all went to America. That's why, seeking a better life.
Sicilians is the largest subgroup of Italians living in the United States.
Okay, I didn't know that.
So there's about 5.5 million Sicilians living in Sicily, and you bet most of them say, "I have family in New York, New Jersey, California, Texas, Philadelphia, Chicago." What are the other big ones, Al?
The best thing is when you were going for your residency permit, because the cops have to come over and visit you. So this big tough cop comes over, right? This guy, he's a sergeant. Asks her where she's from. Come to find out that he had relatives. What was the story with the relatives? They were like, I knew his cousins.
Okay,
from
so wait.
Massachusetts.
So for those people who don't know, so in order to get your resident card, you have to prove that you live somewhere and you have an actual address. And to make sure that you're not fibbing, a police officer comes out and actually checks that you live there. I think Jody DeLuca, by the way, Jody DeLuca is now an Italian citizen. Brava, Jody.
Brava.
Long process. You've seen her on this chat. So in any case, so he comes in and checks whether you're actually living where you are. And then he comes with a piece of paper and he's filling up all these things. And he said, "Where are you from?" And I said, "From Boston," because, I don't say Andover or Lawrence because, people don't know those towns. They're more likely to know Boston. And he said, "Oh, where from Boston?" I said, "Andover." And Alfred said, "Oh, I'm from Lawrence." And it turns out that his cousin also lives in Lawrence and worked for you or shopped at All Things Sicilian. Remember that? And then he looked at his Facebook and he said, "Yes, I know that guy. He used to come in all the time," or something like that. Small world.
Wicked.
That's just amazing, isn't it?
It is a
Last week
small
we had
world.
someone from All Things to Singing, going back 20 years, Bern, send me an email. She used to work with us at All Things to Sing in our Nashua, New Hampshire store. She accepted a date from a Sicilian guy that came in, and now 20 years later, they have children. They've been married for 20 years, thanks to All Things to Sing.
That's
That
so
place was a
awesome.
legend. It is awesome. I'm so happy to
That is
read that
awesome.
email. Believe me.
I
We have
like
to
that she wrote
open
an
up
email.
All Things Hungarian. We have to open up an All Things Hungarian, Eszter.
I gotta go. I gotta get ready for my flight.
Okay.
I'm gonna go. Bye. Thank you.
Buona Pasqua, Happy Easter, and in Hungarian,
Thank you, Bern.
Boldog Húsvét. I was going to say születésnap.
Boldog húsvétet kívánok.
Thank you, Bernadett Vajda, for coming on. If you need a stylist or an image consultant, right here.
Come visit me in
What's
New
your
York.
website? Wait a minute. What's your website?
Well, I have a few, but you can go directly to Bernadett.net. It's BERNADETT.NET. Bernadett.net.
Okay, perfect.
Ciao.
That's seen on television.
Eszter Style Today by me.
She did
Thank
my.
you.
No, I mean, listen. We work with what we have. It's called shopping your closet. It saves you time and money. Instead of going out and buying things, look through your closet and see what you have. Everyone has the whole theory is that we're only wearing 20% of our closet 80% of the time. So everyone's like, oh, I don't have money to go to Italy. I don't have money to go to Sicily. Everyone has funds. If you go in your closet, sell clothes you don't have, you can build up that little fund to go to your next trip. I mean, everything is right there in your closet.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Some free advice.
My clients always say like, oh, I spent money on this and the sales lady told me it was great. I was like, she wanted the commission. So don't spend, shop your closet.
Save to go to Sicily. There you go.
Buy me presents.
Free advice from Bernadett Vajda, Bernadett.net. Ciao.
Bye, Al.
Thanks, Bern. Ciao, ciao.
Oh, that was
Great
fun.
lady.
That was fun. But listen, that was free advice for you right there. Only on You, Me, and Sicily. Fashion advice. All right. Angelo says, I'm on your second book and enjoying it too. Nice touch with the postcards in the books. Buona Pasqua. Glad you like those postcards. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. That was my daughter Jennifer's idea. She's the one that ships them out for me. We still have a few sets left.
Honey,
the last 3 books, $19, free shipping. What? Get a hold of Eszter. She'll organize it for you.
Yeah, the postcards, I ended up sending postcards to everyone who ordered Trinacria and some of the other things.
Oh, good idea.
So,
yeah, that's nice that you do that.
Lisa Lanza, I'm flying into Rome in May 9th, taking the train to Assisi from Termini in the same day. You know, one of the things I've been wanting to really try, Alfred, is taking the train to Rome from Sicily. That's something we need to put on our to-do list.
I want to do that too, but I want to address
very comfortable.
The gal that is going to take a train into Assisi. Okay, in my opinion, Assisi is the holiest place I've ever been to in my entire life. I actually felt the presence of the Lord Jesus Christ when I walked into the church of St. Francis, the church, the cathedral there. It was unbelievable. The place is clean as a whistle. It's beautiful. Don't forget to get a couple of the wooden crosses that they sell. Okay, the Tau. It's called the Tau. It's shaped like the Hebrew letter, the Tau, which means peace or something like that. Get it blessed. As a matter of fact, bring a bunch of them back to the United States with you. Get a whole handful, okay, and give them out. Okay, that's how you spread peace. That place, it just will blow you away. It changed my life. I've been there several times. I'm dying to take Eszter there. That's all I wanted to say about Assisi.
Beautiful place. There's so many other, the whole thing is, people ask me, have you been here? Have you been to Tuscany? Have you been to Assisi? Have you been to Florence and all those places? And I always tell people, I still haven't seen all of Sicily, and I've been there since 2014. With Alfred, I got to tell you that still to this day, even though I return to a lot of places, I'm awed all the time. It never gets old, but there are still many places that I would like to see that I haven't. Alfred, let's give a shout out to our new friends that we're going to be meeting, Joan and Harry Fur, the slow travelers. They just got to
Ah,
Sicily in March. We did a consult with them a while back, and they made it to Sicily. So I'm excited to meet them. Actually, there's a lot of expats um, in our area, Alfred. Um,
I want to bring the
Very
video
interesting.
camera. I think that those people are so interesting that we ought to do a segment on one of our magazine formats. I think it'd be great. Let's not forget to bring the camera when we meet these people. The
Yeah,
thing is about these travelers from the States that we're meeting nowadays, they're fundamentally very interesting people. And because there's been a big change, I can see the last 15 years over the type of traveler that's coming to Sicily. There are people that actually done a lot of research about Sicily and decide to kind of look at Jody, for example. Okay. Look at Jody. She jumped right in and now she's an Italian citizen. All right. And
well,
there's a
she
lot of
said
people
she
like Jody now that are deciding to relocate to Sicily. The expat community is growing bigger and
growing.
bigger and bigger. Yeah, bigger and
Yeah.
bigger.
I was surprised also in Avila, there are a lot of Americans, but really splattered all over Sicily. There are a lot of expats, not just from the United States, but also from England, also from Canada. So it's very interesting to see that growth. And I love that Jody came to on our first tour in 2016, and she said it was then that it got into her bloodstream, it got into her brain, it got into her psyche that she perhaps would one day want to move to Sicily. And then she came again with us on one of our tours in 2017, and she said that was it. And then she started the process probably around 2018. And obviously, because of COVID, it was delayed a little bit. But what a brave person, right? To give up her life in California, leave her daughter, her grandchildren, her family, and move to Sicily. And she gave her father such a beautiful gift. I talked about Christine earlier. She gave her father such a beautiful gift. She flew him out to Sicily at the age of 80. Imagine that. And their ancestral hometown is in Librizi in the province of Messina. So, yeah,
You know,
it can be
Esther,
done.
let me say this, okay? I was looking at the demographics of those people who watch our programming and watch our videos on our YouTube station. I'm not talking about any other platforms. I'm just talking about YouTube. We've had almost 1.5 million views on YouTube, but the surprising thing is only 50% of our viewers are actually from the United States. Okay, we get enormous viewing audiences from Australia, from Canada, from the EU, Esther. And yes,
From
and last
Italy.
week, besides Italy is growing too, almost 9% of our views are from Italy. But the one that snuck up last week for some bizarre reason, 14% of people last week who watched our programming were from the country of Norway. Norway. Can you
Hmm.
imagine that? Yep, it's only 5.5 million people. So I did some research about Norway, and of course, that was the home of the ancient Vikings. Okay, there's been a lot of programming in Norway on the Vikings lately and how they used to do all the raids, of course, into England and France, but also into Sicily. Did you know that we
Yep.
probably have Viking blood in us, thanks to, and also the famous people who kicked out the Muslims. Who were they? Quick little quiz. Who kicked out the Normans? Right? They were the original descendants of Rollo from Normandy, who was originally a Viking. So it's amazing how in the Scandinavian areas now, more and more people are discovering Sicily.
That's interesting.
Sicily is now, yeah, it's really an interesting phenomenon that's happening, and we're thrilled about it because more and more people are watching our programming, and we're very, very thrilled about it. We have to get a couple of Normans here, though. I want to find a couple of people who could say that they're Viking, wear the helmets with the antlers and stuff.
Lisa, we are descendants of Princess Giovanni Lanza di Paterno of Trabbia. Trabbia. The family home has become a museum. That is very interesting. Princess Giovanni Lanza. We have a friend, Giovanni Lanza, in Texas. Trabbia, the birthplace of spaghetti, or so they say, right, Al?
I believe it's from Trabbia myself. That's what I think. And our president is Giovanni Lanza from Monreale. He was born in Monreale, right outside of Palermo, province of Palermo. What are you reading there, Bunny?
I want to read you this comment that Silvio, our friend Silvio from Architrezza, who's on here, the Web Horse wrote, because you talked about discovering Sicily. And he wrote, this was under the video that I just published on wines from Sicily and how it's gaining popularity. And he said, oh, actually, Lisa Lanza was just commented something as well. But he wrote, it sounds a kind of renaissance. For a long time, Sicilian wines have been underrated. Etna Vineyards, many years, have been producing wine only to local markets, and the same destiny had got Nero Diavolo. The last was found out casually from expert mind. It's amazing how Sicily has had all these treasures. He said, the Sicilian treasures sleep under and forgotten and covered on dust until someone finds out about that and suddenly get famous. So he's saying, basically what you always say, Alfred, Sicily's like having the Mona Lisa, except keeping it in the closet. Sicily has so many treasures.
There's a reason.
Tell me why.
There's a reason why. Okay. At least since 1948, when the Constitution was adopted, for all intents and purposes, Sicily has become a nanny state. It's all about the state. Okay. The state is all powerful. It does everything from cradle to death here for you. And as a result, as is in any country where the state is the daddy, so to speak, it crushes creativity and it crushes ambition. I was just reading an article about a famous Palermo chef who cannot get help working in his restaurant, which is a huge problem right now in Italy, trying to get up off its knees. He says, why should a kid, 20-year-old, work his ass off for 800 or 900 euro a month when, if he does nothing, he can get 600 euro a month on the citizenship income and not have to pay any taxes? Okay?
Well,
it's a huge
Alfred,
issue right now.
I'm sorry, Alfred, that's your opinion. That's not my opinion. My opinion is that, and I think you missed the point. The point is that Sicily has all these treasures and they don't showcase it. They don't do enough to push it. They don't do, if you remember, we were in a hotel in the province of Agrigento in San Leone, and the guy said, he was buying all types of artifacts from all over the world that people just used to come up until the 60s, just go to ruins and you could take anything. I think it's mostly a thing that Sicilians don't realize or didn't understand just how important some of those artifacts are. But I don't think creativity is what was the word you used? A quell store.
The key to economic success is being
but wait
creative.
a second now.
let me
No, let me
disrespect.
finish.
I want to disagree with you again.
But let
Yeah.
me finish. Let me finish.
Go ahead.
I don't think so
Go ahead.
because you see a lot of creative people. You also see now, not before, no, the Sicilian region really try to help cultural institutions, help farmers, help artists, help musicians. There's a big push right now to try to restart the economy, help people, artisans, and so other cultural and historical institutions.
Okay, now could I disagree with the disagreeer, if
Yeah.
you don't mind? All right. As one who did the fancy food show in New York City for 5 years, as one who won the gold medal for one of the best Sicilian products in a category,
Yeah.
let me say this to you, okay? That the vast majority of those who go from Sicily to the fancy food show, which is the world showcase for things of a Sicilian nature, are there only because the Sicilian region pays for their hotel and their plane fare. Okay, most of these people can't speak English. Okay, so
It's a
you've
big
got a
problem.
whole row of people. You have a whole row of people, and I'm talking about hundreds, selling their stuff all over Sicily, yet they cannot negotiate with the buyers from the American supermarkets, not just Italian markets, to buy their products. And what does the region do? They provide 2 or 3 translators per row, so to speak, who don't know the product knowledge. And really, and I've spent a long time partying with these people, it's not on their dime. They don't care. Story 1. Story 2. Massimo and I were going to do a seminar on how to import into the United States. Massimo says, well, what do you have in mind? I says, well, we're going to go rent a hotel. We'll charge like €100, something like that. Give them a whole day seminar on how to get your products to import into the United States. Massimo says, are you crazy? You won't even get one vendor to pay you 5 cents. Why should they pay you 5 cents when the government is supposed to do that? So that is the mentality, Eszter. It's not like the United States. It's
Honey,
not
I
like
think
that whole business of creative. No, it's not. I'm sorry. And that's why you have problems in Sicily in terms of the economic condition of this country. It'll never get better as long as this country is in a nanny state. My opinion, and I disagree with you.
I think we're talking about different things, honey. All right, but let's move on. I think we're talking
Okay.
about two different things.
All right.
Okay.
But it's good.
My
It's good to have different opinions. You get to see both sides of the story. E. I
my
agree with
father
you
and 4
100%.
brothers owned the first large grocery store in Waterbury, Connecticut, IGA. Very interesting.
Great city. Waterbury's a great city.
All right, let's see what Jim has. Sicily is at least 50 years behind in capitalizing on its cultural and archaeological treasures. The first time I went to Morgantina in the mid-90s, it was wide open and treasures were taken freely. Yeah, so that's what I was talking about. The hotel in San Leone has artifacts that the owners bought from all over Europe. So people came on their vacations or to Sicily and they went to Taormina. By the way, Taormina and the Greek theater, wasn't an actual archaeological site until maybe 40 or 50 years ago. Before, there were cows and there were people just hanging out among the ancient artifacts. But I don't know if they didn't understand or there wasn't the knowledge. I got to ask that question from some of our tour guides and historians about why was that mentality. Two totally different topics. You listen, wait a sec. I said the same thing. We were talking about 2 totally different topics. I'm talking about why Sicily is left in a closet and is not pushed enough. And you're talking about jobs, which, by the way, that argument, I do agree with you, but let's move on because we're talking about two very
Let me
different
just say
topics.
something. I want to just say something else, both to you and to Jim, okay? Because I love Jim and I love you.
Honey,
Of course, I
but
love you the most. Esther, I
let's
love you the
move
most.
on.
Wait a minute.
I
Let me
know,
just.
but let's
Well,
move
wait a
on
minute.
because
Let
we're
me just.
two different topics.
Okay, I
Two
want to
different
just talk as a
topics.
generalization. Just a generalization.
About
okay?
what? About what?
If you give me a chance, I'll talk. Okay. So let me just say this. Okay. There could be two people walking down the same road. Say, for example, it's Esther and Alfred. And Esther sees all the beauty in that road. She sees the beautiful birds flying by, the lovely trees. She sees the beautiful flowers growing. She smells the air. She loves it. Okay. Then there could be a person like Alfred, and he doesn't see that stuff.
But
What he
honey,
sees
we're
is,
talking
wait a
about
second,
different
please.
topics.
Excuse me. You're
Different
interrupting me now,
topics.
and I'm going to finish my thought. Thank you. Okay. Now you see Alfred.
Oh,
Alfred doesn't see that stuff. Alfred sees the dirt and the garbage on the road. He sees the junkies shooting up in the alley. Okay. You have to be. Italy is not a paradise. Italy is Italy. Sicily is Sicily. Okay. There are inherent problems here, just like in the United States, Esther.
but sweetie pie,
Okay.
no one said there weren't any problems. No one said that.
You're
All I
missing the
said
point,
that
and let's
for
just move on
all
now.
I
Now
said
let's move on because
was
you're
all
missing my point completely. Okay, you're missing the
right,
point.
let's agree to
Period. End
disagree
of
and
that.
move on. Let's agree to
Yeah,
disagree and
that's
move on.
right. That's why we get along so good. That's our
But
synergy.
honey, but the funny thing
The
is
yin
that
and the yang. What?
the topic that you were talking about, I agree, but I'm talking about a completely different topic.
Okay, that's because you and Jim feel that way. And Jim,
Economically,
Jim
I
is a yin
agree.
just like you are.
Al, let's move on. Dearest one, let's
Move
move on.
on.
You're
I'm all
missing
ready
the
to move
point.
on.
You're missing the
Okay.
point. All right.
Yeah.
Listen,
That's why this
do you
program is
do
so
you have
popular.
anything
That's
do
why
you,
we have alternative views. That's all.
but sweetie pie, listen to me. It's not I agree with you on the point that you were talking about. I'm talking about a completely different topic. Completely different topic. All right, let's move on. And you know what? Let's say hello to some people. Buona Pasqua from Milo. We just signed a contract on a house. Awesome. Lisa, see, there's another
Congratulations.
expert.
Now there
All
you
right.
go. That person, whoever it's going to be, is going to help Sicily.
All right. I can't wait to be back in Sicily. Looking forward to coming back. We have a lot of work to do. And what are you going to do for the rest of the day?
I've got a ton of stuff to do. Okay, I have a lot of work. Massimo and I are very busy, so I'll be doing the stuff that I love to do, which is helping people legally. Okay, which is what I do. I have to be a lawyer, so that's what I do. I help people. We're working on some big cases right now, as you know. Lots of people contact me. They want to buy a house or sell a house or buy a business or sell a business or get out of trouble or do a will or stuff like that. That's what I do. That's what Massimo does. And today, though, is Easter. So I think I'm going to take a couple hours off and just thank the Lord Jesus Christ for putting me in this position. Because between you and myself, the last 7 years working together, having diverse opinions about lots of stuff, we've managed to open the eyes to hundreds of thousands of people on the beauty, Esther, of this island paradise. That's what we've
And
done, and that's what we're going to continue on. That was we'll continue on doing that.
for sure.
That's,
All right. Thank you, everyone. If you're still watching, Buona Pasqua. If you didn't hear it, I just love saying Happy Easter from Eszter. And thank you for spending this time with us. And of course, we'll see you every Wednesday and Sunday on this channel talking about all things Sicilian. Buona Pasqua. Happy Easter. Arrivederci.
I want everybody to know that I couldn't be prouder of having a partner like Esther on this project. Really, she's made me a better person, and I really mean that. And I want to say,
Ditto.
Benediga, all of you.
Ditto. Ditto,
Ciao.
honey. Ditto. Ciao.
Okay.